Hey folks, Brandon here. So, most of my life I've been around adults, the elders, people way older than me, with the exception of all the people my age and a little bit younger, a little bit older my age. I got to be around school most of my life. I never got to go out that often to people's houses and go to parties and whatnot, but anyway, that's not the point of this video, okay? This is just part of the introduction, me explaining. And I don't have the world's best skill set with knife throwing, hatchet throwing, tomahawk throwing. Have very little skill set with the shooting of firearms as opposed to using bladed cutlery from kitchen knives to axes to whatever. Okay? I have a little bit of knowledge in fire starting, not a lot. I have understandings when it comes to navigation, water purification, and all that. A lot more of my knowledge is based off of research from what I've got from television, books, read online, and written down all inside a notepad and research what was the most likely, truthful results given. Now, this is something plenty of people say stuff, plenty of people have these famous sayings. Well, this is a belief I have. The difference between knowledge and wisdom, okay? Knowledge is the knowing of something that you know, okay? You know. People can know of something that could be true or false. So I'm not really going to add that anymore to my theory of knowledge because it kind of makes it a little harder to understand. So knowing of something you actually know is true. So actual real knowledge, not just what you knew a person said and understood what they said and got it and claimed it to be the truth, and therefore you thought it was knowledgeable to you to present it as knowledge. So knowledge is the knowing of something. That means you could know it from television, as long as it's proven truthful. You can know it from a book, whatever else. And when you get to knowing it from experience, it no longer is just knowledge. You see, when you're young inside a school classroom and the teacher puts up on the board 7 plus 6 equals 13, okay? That's, you just know what they finally told you, what the numbers are, what they represent, what they come together, what it equals, okay? But until you actually see it, like you have 7 apples here, like they always used to say in examples, and 6 oranges here, or whatever, you know, or you have 2 people right here and 1 left, that is no longer just knowledge, just because you heard and you've seen an example. When you have actually witnessed it, and you have put what was just beginning, I'm going to say book knowledge, into actual physical life events, then you have wisdom. That may not be the exact definition of wisdom, but that's how I feel. You have become wise because you have experienced something that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life. Anybody can read a book long enough and finally get to know and understand it. But until you actually experience it, and this is something why I don't like commenting on gun videos, because I only know from what other people that shoot gun a little bit of, I've messed with firearms, but I still have a decent systematic thought process as to the understanding of simple basic knowledge, common sense also, not wisdom, to comment on stuff and make decent, not really assumptions, but observations, and putting out my belief as well as my understanding on that. From just looking at something, like looking at thing on the board, the numbers for example, just like me looking at for the gun thing, you know, and just can only say so much that can still be proven true. As long as you're not saying nothing that is completely false and completely has no credibility whatsoever, what does it matter of how much you actually fully experienced with it? Okay? Now, I'm not talking about something that'll work every once in a while. I'm talking about something it's just true. It's just it. That's all there is to it. Okay? And I've never really been in what I like to call them physical altercations, basically mean a fight my whole entire life. And this is one of the basis I've been thinking about that made me want to explain my knowledge versus wisdom, because I've never been inside a fight, okay? I have a individual that was a decent acquaintance of mine. He did boxing. He'd been inside a ring. He had people, oftentimes up in his face, I think, from what my understanding point. He goes, what little bit I know, okay? And I've never been in a fight. I don't know if he's actually ever been in a fight, but he's been inside the boxing ring. Now, from my understanding, from watching just YouTube vids, I know what you're thinking now. They're just YouTube vids. Why should you think they're credible? Because there's still people that make the vids, and people don't always lie, okay? And a lot of people say, being in a street fight as opposed to being in a ring is something totally different. And if you understand about fear factor and adrenaline and all that, and fight or flight and this and that and whatnot, and just ever seen maybe a few small glimpses of fights, or even just videos on YouTube of street fights of people fighting in the street as opposed to in a ring. That's, of course, like UFC and maybe some good MMA fighters. More UFC probably, but, yeah. So one of the things I am against, as far as people, I've seen a lot of people do when they get into a fight, is they take their shirt off. They immediately take their shirt off and whatnot. I can understand taking your sunglasses off, taking your hat off a little bit, because that's going to get knocked off, not just end up causing blinding you anyway, accidentally, in the middle of a fight. But taking your shirt off, People say, well, shirts is a small fabric, it's not really that protective on you, but it's better than nothing. That's my questioning part. Because I know that you getting hit with something or something getting scratched by a nail is better than nothing. I'm not saying a guy's going to come at you like a cat, but you never know. It's a daggum actual fight. You don't know. You might fall on the ground and might be some glass down there, It's going to have to go through the shirt. Of course, glass can go through a shirt, but still. What else was it? Oh, it makes you move slower. How thick of a shirt do you have on? I think I can move pretty decently with this shirt right here, pretty much, So, and by the way, these are Gold's Gym gloves. I'm not trying to look cool with fingers gloves and look all daggum, I can do this and I can do that and whatnot. These just weightlifting gloves, pretty much. Okay. What else? Oh, your shirt might get ripped inside a fight. So what? It's a shirt. Are you so poor you can't buy another shirt? I don't get it, And I'm one of the people that's a little bit overweight. If I take my shirt off, my stomach area, my core area isn't all held in one position more often, especially if my shirt's tucked in. And I just don't get people that take their shirts off to fight. As soon as you take this up, have it right here to take them there, you can do it slow or quick, your whole entire body is open. You now have something covering up your vision. You can't see. If a person really has been pushed that point, is just that crazy, they physically want to harm you, they're not going to care and let you take the time. Always taking their shirt off, okay? This isn't some gentleman's challenge. This isn't a match. This is an actual fight. Oh, me and this dude, we went out, there was some boys went out near my land. They had nothing to do with me. Fight each other over some girl years ago. And they took their shirt off, so everybody from school basically went out there in this field, and they went out and gathered in the middle of nowhere, because I live in the middle of nowhere. Right out way, a little bit further away over there. And I heard one swung and totally missed. I'm pretty sure they done a freaking haymaker. Because everybody today loves to do them they want to do some power swing and think they're the Hulk or something. I don't know what's wrong with this generation. But yeah, I've never been inside a fight. These are just things I find stupid for people that get in physical altercations, being mainly the shirt taken off. We started this. And second being the haymaker. I don't get it. So, hope y'all enjoyed the video.